The woman is in the village, and the man is in the field.
Hey, look, you don't have to be afraid of me. I'm not gonna bite you. Here, come on. Would you like a cigarette?
For Inger Stevens, a rising star of 1960s Hollywood, her off-screen was a stark contrast to her on-screen success. Born in Stockholm and raised in Kansas, she overcame a tumultuous childhood to become a Golden Globe-winning actress. But beneath the glitz and glamour, Stevens harbored deep-seated pain that ultimately led to her untimely demise. Today, we delve into the tragic story of Inger Stevens, exploring the events and circumstances that culminated in her shocking death at just 36 years old. Early life and rise to stardom.
Do you like looking that far ahead?
Not much point to it, is there? I mean, things change right under your eyes. Like, for example, you meet somebody in a bar, and they give you go-ahead signals that mean green light, only you weren't wearing that ring in the bar.
You don't go out with married women, is that it?
That makes me a square, huh?
It might make you very nice. I put it on and off, depending on the mood I'm in. Right now, the mood is on.
Inger Stevens' journey to Hollywood stardom began far from the bright lights of Tinseltown. Born in Stockholm, Sweden as Ingrid Stensland on October 18, 1934, her childhood was marked by upheaval and abandonment. At age 6, her mother left the family, taking Stevens' younger brother with her. In 1944, at age 10, Stevens and her remaining brother were uprooted once again when her father, newly remarried, sent for them to join him in the U.S. The journey across the Atlantic was fraught with danger, as their ship was tailed by a German U-boat, a stark reminder of the ongoing World War II. Upon arrival in America, the children found themselves alone, their father too busy with work to meet them. Struggling to find her place in a new country and within her own family, she made a bold move at 15, running away to Kansas City. There, she worked as a burlesque dancer, a decision that hinted at both her desperation and her budding ambition to perform. Eventually returning home, Stevens finished high school before setting her sights on New York City and a career in acting. In New York, she honed her craft at the prestigious Actors Studio while working various jobs to make ends meet. Her breakthrough came in 1957 with her film debut in Man on Fire, opposite Bing Crosby. This role catapulted Stevens into the Hollywood spotlight, leading to a string of successful film and television appearances throughout the late 50s and 60s. Perhaps her most memorable early role came in a 1960 episode of The Twilight Zone titled The Hitchhiker. In a haunting performance, she portrayed a woman slowly realizing she's being pursued by death itself. This role proved eerily prophetic, foreshadowing the actress's own struggles with mortality and mental health. Her career reached new heights with her starring role in the television series The Farmer's Daughter. The show was a hit, earning Stevens a Golden Globe Award and cementing her status as a television star. Yet even as her professional life flourished, Stevens' personal life remained turbulent, marked by failed relationships and a deep-seated loneliness that she struggled to overcome. Hidden struggles and secret marriage. Behind the scenes, Inger Stevens' life was far more complex than her public image suggested. Despite her success and apparent confidence on screen, Stevens battled with depression and a pervasive sense of not belonging. In interviews, she often alluded to feeling like an outsider in Hollywood, questioning her talents and place in the industry. One of the most intriguing aspects of her personal life was her secret marriage to Ike Jones, an African-American actor and producer. The couple wed in Mexico in 1961, but kept their union hidden from the public eye. In an era when interracial marriages were still met with widespread prejudice and could potentially derail careers, Stevens and Jones made the difficult decision to maintain separate homes and file taxes as single individuals. This secrecy, while protecting Stevens' career, undoubtedly added to her emotional burden. The strain of hiding such a significant part of her life from the world, combined with the societal pressures of the time, likely contributed to Stevens' feelings of isolation and depression. The revelation of this marriage only came to light after Stevens' death, when Jones came forward to claim his rights as her widower. The ensuing legal battle over her estate brought to the forefront the complexities of Stevens' life and the sacrifices she'd made for her career. Near-death experiences.
You know, to make bread is to make something real. I envy you.
There's coffee.
Oh, thank you. I'll just, would you like the joint?
No, thank you.
Throughout her life, she had several brushes with death that seemed to reinforce her belief that she was living on, quote, borrowed time. One of the most dramatic was in 1961 when she was a passenger on a Boeing 707 that crash-landed in Lisbon. As the plane caught fire and passengers rushed to evacuate, Stevens initially resigned herself to death, curling up on the floor of the burning aircraft. At the last minute, she changed her mind and managed to escape, becoming the last passenger to exit the plane before it was engulfed in flames. It left a profound impact on her. In a 1963 interview, she reflected on the experience, saying, quote, "Somehow I escaped, and now I feel as if I'm on borrowed time." This sentiment would resurface repeatedly in her public statements, suggesting a deep-seated anxiety about her own mortality. Another near-fatal incident occurred during the filming of Cry Terror in 1960. While shooting in a subway tunnel, Stevens and other cast members were overcome by carbon monoxide fumes. Stevens spent 2 days in an oxygen tent recovering from the incident. Her co-star, Rod Steiger, later recalled that Stevens had initially refused medical treatment at the scene, insisting she wanted to die. These brushes with death, combined with her pre-existing mental health issues, seemed to reinforce Stevens's fatalistic outlook on life. The repeated confrontation with her own mortality may have exacerbated her depression and contributed to her sense of living a life that could end at any moment. The psychological impact of these experiences can't be overstated. For someone already grappling with feelings of not belonging and questioning her place in the world, these near-death incidents likely intensified Stevens' existential anxieties. And the pressure to maintain a facade of glamour and stability in the public eye while privately dealing with these traumatic experiences and mental health issues would have been extraordinarily taxing. Final days and tragic end.
Inger Stevens' star was on the rise. Fame, wealth, and liaisons with leading men came with that stardom. But just as she was hitting her peak, Inger Stevens took her own life.
As the 60s drew to a close, Inger Stevens' career showed no signs of slowing down. She had transitioned successfully from television to film, starring in movies alongside Hollywood heavyweights like Clint Eastwood, Henry Fonda, and Walter Matthau. But the disparity between her professional success and personal turmoil continued to widen. In the months leading to her death, she was working on reviving her television career with a new series called The Most Deadly Game. She was also scheduled to begin filming another TV series in the fall of 1970. However, on the morning of April 30th, 1970, tragedy struck. Stevens' roommate and longtime friend Lola McNally found the actress lying face down on the kitchen floor of their Hollywood Hills home. McNally reported that when she called Stevens' name, the actress opened her eyes, lifted her head, and attempted to speak, but was unable to make a sound. Emergency services were called, but Stevens died in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. She was only 35. The LA coroner, Dr. Thomas Noguchi, attributed Stevens' death to acute barbiturate poisoning. The death was eventually ruled a suicide. The details surrounding her final hours remain mysterious. McNally told officials she had spoken to Stevens the night before and had seen no signs of trouble. When Stevens' body was brought to the hospital, medical staff noted a small bandage on her chin covering a fresh cut that appeared to be a few hours old. The circumstances of the injury were never fully explained. Stevens' death sent shockwaves through Hollywood and left fans struggling to reconcile the image of the vibrant actress they knew from the screen with the troubled woman who had taken her own life. Many who knew her professionally expressed surprise, noting that she had seemed optimistic about her future projects. However, those closest to Stevens were perhaps less surprised. Her history of depression and a previous suicide attempt on New Year's Day 1959 suggested a long-standing battle with mental health issues. She had once described herself as, quote, very much a hard-luck girl, and often spoke of being lonely and out of place in Hollywood. Now it's time to hear from you. Have you ever felt surprised learning about the personal struggles of a public figure you admired? Let us know in the comments section below.